Good morning, Palm Springs students and staff. It's your digital edition of Palm Springs TV.
I'm Anthony.
And I'm Kaylee.
Today starts Literacy Week. We have book reviews for you today, along with how to use Media Center in these virtual times.
Plus, your next day off from school. We have the date for you to mark down.
But first, listen for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is the final week of the second quarter.
It ends on Friday, January 29. Please talk to your teachers if you want a higher grade.
And with the end of the quarter comes a teacher workday, meaning you don't have school next week on Monday, February 1st.
Teachers have to work, but students have to do it all.
This week also finishes up our diagnostic testing. Science for 8th graders will take place this week.
Good luck to all students in the exam.
This week, schools across Florida are celebrating Literacy Week.
This is a special time to focus on reading to get a copy for the rest of your life.
One way to get better at reading is to read.
You can get books or on Media Center whether you are on campus or staying virtual.
And to Literacy Week. Good morning. Welcome to Literacy Week and the Media Center in virtual times. I'm Mrs. Steffens, your media specialist. First thing I want to say, even though we're in virtual times, if you're here at school, brick and mortar, you are more than welcome to check out books here in the Media Center. We have not shut down. For safety measures, I disinfect each book when it's returned, and I wait 3 days before I put it back on the shelf. If you'll come with me, James, these are the new books that I received at the beginning of the year, and I have them on the book cart, so it's easy for you to come in, just take a look at our newest collection. That doesn't mean they're the only books in the Media Center, not by a long stretch. We also have the books from last year, our second newest books on that small bookshelf there, and then of course all of the books throughout the library. So please, if you're here for brick and mortar, stop by the Media Center. I check out books all day. You can check out books, return books from last year. We are open for business. Now, for those of you who prefer an ebook, you're learning from home, you're doing virtual, or if you're brick and mortar and you still prefer an ebook, which is really convenient, I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, students, you're going to log on just like you normally will to your computer. And here's your landing page. This student has not gone on McAnvia, which is great because I can show you what to do. He does not have the McAnvia tile. Just look through, and that's fine. Once we log him in, he will have the McAnvia tile the rest of the year. So up here in the search bar, I'm just going to start to type Macin, and there it comes. It populates right away. There's McAnvia. We're going to click on McAnvia. And like I said, this tile will be on his page for the rest of the year. Now, sometimes you have to choose the Palm Springs Middle School. This is the first time I've seen that we don't have to choose it. There's 3 Palm Springs Middle Schools that populate. You want the one in West Palm Beach. As soon as you click on that, it has all of your information. Maybe they've updated something. So anyway, here are the e-books or electronic books that the district provides for you each year. Many, many, many copies of the best and the brightest books, the funniest books. You can organize them, the newest, the highest rated. You can go in and play around and configure your page any way you want. So if you're interested, let's see what looks like fun. Let's try All's Fair. I can open the book where it says open now and preview the book. I don't have to check it out. This is a graphic novel, what we used to call a comic type of book, and I can scroll through it and see if it's something that I would enjoy. Once I've taken a look and I'm happy with what I've seen, I can exit out. I can go back, I can check the book out, Now it's checked out for 2 weeks. It automatically is checked back in. If you haven't finished the book, you can go in and renew the book, I believe 3 times. So you have a lot of options. Or if you're finished with a book, which I'm finished obviously, I don't want to keep this book out, I'm just going to click return, and now the book is returned. But you don't even have to worry about it. That's the beauty of ebooks. If it's raining, you don't worry about your library book getting wet. You can keep it, and you don't have to worry about, oh my goodness, the book's going to be late, because it automatically checks it back in. And again, you can go in and you can change that around. Over here, you have a list of a number of different things, all resources, categories, ebooks. Ebooks is the same exact thing as what I'm showing you. However, it has a brief synopsis or description of what the book is about and how many stars that the kids who have read it have rated that book. This is one of my favorite parts of Mac and Via, because I can read about the book a little bit and decide if I'm interested or not. And again, if you're in the middle of the book and you're not thrilled with it, you can check it back in and grab another book. Another thing I want to call your attention to, and I won't go real deep into this, are databases. This is what we used to call the research and reference section of the Media Center. I literally did my entire master's degree just using the district's databases. They spend over $100,000 a year in these subscriptions. Absolutely amazing. Every single night, if I can get down here to World Book, every single night World Book is repopulated. It's like having a brand new set of encyclopedias every single day. Sources in U.S. History Online. I can go into this part, and if you're in 8th grade or any grade and you need to do a report or find out more information on something you're learning about, it's right here. Literary Finder, Kids Info Bits. This is for elementary school. It doesn't mean you can't use it. If you need it to be explained a little more detailed, you're going to go in here. Gale in Context. There's Health and Wellness for fitness, especially right now with COVID. More information here. And let me just open this one. We could spend hours doing this, and I would just encourage you to go in and play around. Let's take a look at COVID. And as you can see, these are the articles. It tells you this one's from the Gale Encyclopedia of Cancer. Let's scroll down. This is the Gale Health and Wellness. This is from eHealth, and you go, just scroll down. Here's videos. If you're doing a report, you need to put a little video in your report, or you want to actually see some, a video of what you're, learning about. You can take a look at their videos. Here's tons of pictures, audio information, almost 4,000 audio articles, and it goes on and on and on and on.
Now that you know how to check out a book, what should you read?
Pstv students put together these book reviews with a twist.
Each review is only 6 words. Check it out.
friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for anywhere and anytime at all.
Down here in the deep blue sea.
It's just another night, and I'm staring at the moon. I saw a shooting star and thought of you. I sang a lullaby by the waterside and knew if you were here, I'd sing to you.
If you need help with your reading, I'll teach you how to read.
It's called vocabulary, and it's like brain pop, but through rap.
They have videos on topics like ancient Egypt, multiplying, binomial, climate change, and other issues related to social media, social studies, math, science, and civic arts.
They also have a recap of the week's current events.
We know last week what amazing events in the in-go your issue.
This is what vocabulary came up with to summarize the big event.
Shout out to Stafford Intermediate School in Manahawkin, New Jersey. You know what time it is. It's time for the weekend rap. Okay, 1 part rhymes and 1 part news. Put those together.
What does that do?
It makes the weekend rap.
Oh, I see.
Grab a seat, we can get into the news of the week.
Okay.
Joe Biden was inaugurated as the 46th president, but the ceremony was different than past years.
Why?
We're in a pandemic, so a lot of the events were virtual, not to mention it's only been a couple weeks since the insurrection at the Capitol. So there was a heavy presence of National Guard troops, but things went smoothly, and President Biden shared a message of unity. At age 22, Amanda Gorman became the youngest known poet to speak at an inauguration. Dr. Jill Biden handpicked her for the role. She's only the 6th ever inaugural poet.
Okay.
Before that, Donald Trump became the first president to be impeached twice. Incitement of insurrection is what the House impeached him for. Now it's moving on to a trial on the Senate floor. They'll decide if they want to acquit or convict him, even if they'll bar Trump from holding future office. Next, in Michigan, former Governor Snyder was charged for his role in the Flint water crisis that put a whole city's health at major risk. His lawyers say that the state has no evidence. In Nashville, the National Museum of African American Music opened up. It's dedicated to contributions by black artists, many of whom helped get American music started. Last, a major trade in the NBA. James Harden moved north from Houston to BK to join KD and Kyrie on the Nets. Will the Brooklyn Big Three impress? I don't know. I gotta bounce. That's the end of my time. We'll be back next week with more headlines and rhymes. And don't forget to enter the shout-out contest, all right? You could be featured in the Weekend Rap.
You'll notice vocabulary did a shout out to a school at the beginning of the video.
You can have that hospital mineral a shout out.
Just write a poem or rap about your take on a story from this week. How does it relate to you, your community, and the world at large?
You'll find more information on the vocabulary website, and you can ask your homeroom teachers for help submitting that rap or poem.
Also, for Literacy Week, we will be having a Tuesday book talk.
This is a chance for students to interview or talk with their family members, school administrators, teachers, and or school staff members about their favorite book and the connections they have made them to it.
Mrs. Jinks will talk more about this on Tuesday, but know you can also get extra credit for doing it.
Some student council members have an example book talks for us right now.
A new face on campus wants to help you feel better about yourself.
Today, meet Alejandro.
Good morning, everyone. I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Alejandro. I'm the new counselor on the Palm Spring Middle School. I'm located in room 1125. And basically, yes, my name is Alejandro, and I'm going to be introducing to the school this program that I call Project Success, which comes with two programs, an individual counseling sessions, one-on-one, and then the group sessions. But for that, we'll have to go into details later on. For now, this month, what I'm trying to implement into the school is what I call the Environmental Awareness Month, meaning every month I'm going to try and introduce or bring up a topic of some sort and just kind of educate the school about that topic. For this month, we're going to be doing the Drug and Alcohol Awareness Month. So today we're going to be presenting certain facts and myths about the effects of drugs and alcohol with the development of the child's brain and growth.
Like Alejandro said, we'll be bringing a new topic every month to help make sure we are all on the right track for our futures.
Our Green Race Club is also bringing us a monthly tip.
January is about reducing our carbon footprint.
Carbon footprints are the amount of carbon dioxide and other carbon compounds emitted due to the consumption of fossil fuels by a particular person or group.
Why does it need to be reduced? When we lower our individual carbon footprint, we're investing in our long-term financial security.
You can do this by switching to sustainable, clean energy.
Convince your parents or older siblings to bike more and drive less.
Take a reusable shopping bag to the store instead of using the plastic bags they normally give you.
Eat seasonally, locally, and more plants.
And conserve water and protect our waterways.
Thank you, Greenway members. Amaya lead you for these tips.
Walking through a Florida swamp is like walking back in time.
Being in the river, being with those alligators, it's a little Jurassic Parky out there. You think a dinosaur might get you, you know?
I've never camped in my life before.
People can go their whole lives living 5 miles from the Everglades, never having been there.
Be prepared, it's actually quite wet out there.
Most people don't even know these things exist.
And if you blink, they would be like right in front of you.
I sat like in the water and one came up to me, looked me right in the eye.
I never thought I could do something like that. This is literally in my own backyard, and I have never been educated on things like this.
I've learned stuff out here that a whole year of school wouldn't teach me, you know?
Walk in there and stay in there for 5 days, and you're gonna come out a new person.
Next week, students will get spring pictures.
Any student on campus can get these pictures taken on Thursday, February 4th.
These pictures will take place in the gym. One of Miss Kasuchi's students has a new tool that will help him learn.
See what Daniel D got in this video shot by Pstv's James M and Miss Bowman.
Good morning, Daniel. How you doing?
Good.
Good. You got a new wheelchair, you sit up taller, your posture straighter, so is it gonna help you to work better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you happy?
Will Daniel have good weather this week to cruise around on his new wheels?
Let's check in with PSCV's Tyra.
Thank you, Angelina. This week our weather will be slightly warmer with a high of 84 earlier in the week, but it will then drop to a high of 70 and a low of 61. Our cold days aren't over just yet. Back to our anchors.
Thanks, Tyra. Earlier in the newscast, we mentioned our schools now has a subscription to vocabulary.
We want to play another vocabulary for you in honor of a special day this week.
Wednesday is Holocaust Memorial Day.
Here's some more information about why the Holocaust should always be remembered.
In the midst of the Second World War, Nazi Germany murdered 6 million Jews and millions of other innocent civilians. It's difficult to look closely at this catastrophic period, but it's important so that we may honor the victims and always remember that history is shaped by our choices. In the 1930s, World War II, the Holocaust, a horror story come true in Germany and beyond. If you were a Jew, the Nazi party was coming for you, persecuting the disabled and Roma too, and anyone who dared speak out against their rule, cause the Nazis had an evil belief that the Germans were a people elite, belonging to a master Aryan race. They thought Jews were lesser than a disgrace, and with Adolf Hitler as the head of state, his anti-Semitic laws rooted in hate, Jews had to wear a yellow Star of David and later made to live in ghettos, isolated. At first, physical violence was sporadic, but with time it was routine and systematic. Then came the night of broken glass or crystal knocked, violent riots that the government didn't stop. Nazis burned synagogues and pillaged businesses, attacked and murdered Jewish citizens. Hundreds of synagogues went up in flames. That was November 1938. This evening of horrors was just the start, the dusk of a nightmare darker than dark.
The world stayed silent through the hatred and violence. The world stayed silent through the hatred and violence. The world stayed silent through the hatred and violence. The world stayed silent. The world stayed silent.
Between 1939 and 1945, the Nazis took 6 million Jewish lives. Jews were rounded up, leaving everything behind. Forced on the trains, packed and confined. Shipped to concentration camps where labor was hard. They did back-breaking work and many would starve. Everything the Nazis did was sinister, performing dangerous medical experiments on prisoners. They tattooed ID numbers on many captives and shaved their heads, a degrading practice. It was what Hitler called the final solution. But what he really meant though was mass execution. And when the order came down to start, systematic murder was carried out by the guards. Jewish men, women, and children were led into special chambers dedicated to death. Poisonous gas was pumped into the rooms, and Jews were killed by the poisonous fumes. Picture it, surrounded by death, could you cope? Surrounded by hate, would you even have hope? 11 million people were killed in the Holocaust, and though we can't speak for those whose lives were lost, we must ask ourselves, how did the genocide happen? How can we make sure it won't happen again? It happened cause good people didn't stand up. Good people didn't stand up. It happened cause good people didn't stand up. Good people didn't stand up. In the summer of 1944, Allied troops advanced across Europe and the Nazis retreated. Soviet, American, and British forces liberated tens of thousands of survivors from concentration camps, many of whom were starving and diseased. For the survivors freed from the camps, recovery was difficult. Some went on to share their stories with the world. Remembering the Holocaust honors the legacy of those affected by its horrors and helps to ensure that it will never happen again.
As you continue through your day, your week, your month, your year, your life, keep those in mind who perished in the Holocaust. Well, students, that's all for today.
Remember, you can see Pstv in your first period the first day of every week while students are virtually learning.
Stay tuned for today's birthdays.
Bye.